9.5 kilos, encrypted drives, concealed compartment, governor's office, 5:41 a.m. That's the opening entry in a minute-by-minute log you're about to see. Across Illinois in the next 24 hours, 312 kilograms of narcotics seized, 46 weapon caches found, pill presses in a converted church basement, and a truck on a riverfront pier carrying bricks labeled fentanyl. Every move had paperwork to match: permits, grants, credentials. The question isn't if it happened, it's how a parallel system used state power to hide it. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. The breach call hits at 5:41 a.m., and the first stack rolls on the hinges. A reinforced office door pops under a hydraulic spreader, and the hallway radios flatten into short confirmations. A second team peels left, isolates the records room, and kills the corridor cameras. Inside, desks and frames sell an image that looks clean on a tour. The audio log tags, "Financial safe, unknown secondary compartment," and everyone's tempo changes half a beat. The safe sits behind a cabinet that claims to hold audits and personnel files. The labels read routine. The weight and the heat tell a different story. A forward tech sweeps a thermal and marks a hot seam low to the floor. Then a knee touches a metal plate with fasteners you don't see in office furniture. Why does an administrative safe carry narcotics and encrypted media instead of budget backups? The first hint is how the space is wired. A fire suppression line bends off route to clear the bottom of the cabinet wall, a clean reroute that makes the hidden plate original to the build-out, not a late hack. The second hint is paperwork that reads normal until you line it up by time. A ledger looks like payroll cycles. Pay periods that would clear on standard Fridays. Except the date clusters mirror shipment windows that always land 2 days after zoning hearings. Vendor names sit like community partners on grant sheets. Yet the delivery memos echo after hours loading dock entries tied to keycard pings that don't belong to the departments listed on the invoices. Shell entities often mimic health and social services because those labels pass compliance screens when an auditor samples a small slice. Transfers flagged as consulting and security assessments glide through early checks and grant audits, since advice and risk reviews sit in a gray lane. Here, the ledger entries use those lanes as cover. They move funds just before permit approvals, then close invoices during routine reconciliations when everyone expects a lull. If you only look at one piece, it looks fine. Lay the pieces by week and the timing forms a line you can follow with a map. On a shelf, an encrypted drive labeled Q3 Metrics rests beside a badge printer ribbon and a stack of blank access cards. That pairing does the talking. Metrics back up to network drives. This one lives next to physical credentials. A wall calendar nearby circles zoning hearing dates 2 days before new clinic openings. Small marks like grocery reminders, but they bracket off-hour cargo arrivals to non-public docks. Parallel approvals, permits, rezones, emergency grants create a paper corridor that passes any single inspection. Over months, the corridor becomes a trail with mile markers, and those markers match when trucks move. A pry bar lifts the floor plate, and the air from beneath comes warm with machine heat. Forensics count out 9.5 kilograms of cocaine in vacuum bricks from the financial record safe. The hidden compartment yields serialized pistols and 3 encrypted drives wrapped in anti-static sleeves. On a workstation, the printer queue shows badge issuances tied to departments that do not exist in the personnel directory. The issue times bracket the same nights as the loading dock logs. Even the badge numbers skip in patterns that match the ledger's consulting entries. The logbook entry is not a headline. It is a key. It sets places and hours like a timetable. The timestamps on those files align with trucks that rolled before dawn across the state, and the calendar lines tell you which route came open right after a hearing, which door opened with a fresh badge during an audit, and which invoice closed when the cargo cleared a county line. The office is only the start. The clock drives the next moves. Warehouses with forklift batteries still on trickle charge, a church basement that hums under choir risers, and a quiet river pier that is not quiet at all. The The clockwork from the office rolls into the field without a pause. How did teams hit dozens of sites in one day without tipping targets minutes in advance? They ran a statewide matrix at each hour, not a wave. Drones mapped heat and vehicle signatures, then bounced those feeds through analysts who already had warrant packets staged. Judges cycled signatures on a staggered schedule, minutes apart, to keep radio chatter from telegraphing the next door. Strike lists weren't alphabetical. They mirrored payroll-style transfer cycles pulled from the same ledgers that marked badge issues. If a transfer batch cleared at 8:12 on Fridays, the corresponding door went at 8:10 with a second team queued at 8:17 2 counties away. On paper, a former medical supply warehouse showed dormant. Utility loads sat flat. The lease filed under a nonprofit with a health mission line. Thermal told another story. Forklifts idled warm beside shrink-wrapped pallets. Air handlers cycled harder over one bay than the others. The manifest said durable goods. Sensors picked up traces of chemical volatiles that never ride with office furniture. Entry cut through a side personnel door while a front unit ran a compliance knock with the paperwork in hand. Inside, 72 kilograms of narcotics sat behind a false racking panel held by painted thumbscrews. Pill counters and vacuum sealers tucked inside sanitation crates. Bills of lading matched a legitimate vendor 2 counties over, down to the font, except the dock timestamp ran 6 minutes ahead, and the weighed tickets never posted to the carrier's public portal. There's a reason illicit operations piggyback on health logistics. Cold chain storage and controlled access pass casual inspection. A locked room with temperature monitors looks like a vaccine repository until you swab the vents. Medicaid-linked reimbursements, routed through contractors, can mask cash flow because the invoice language reads like outreach, counseling, or transport. When those payments are split across shells, the trail clears audit thresholds and keeps the cash cycle steady enough to fund the next shipment without tripping a single alert in a grant dashboard. Near Cicero, the sweep met the part that never lives on paper. Unmarked sedans bumped a convoy and boxed them under an overpass. A perimeter unit took rounds through a fender and had to hold behind a concrete pillar until a second car pushed the angle. Recovered handhelds carried pre-programmed municipal channels, not street chatter, and the channel names matched district codes. Under a carport 2 blocks off the stop, a sanded post hit a lock rod to a storage space cut into the slab. Rifles and plate carriers lay alongside burner IDs with faces that didn't match the names. The fight wasn't random. It tracked a route where protection had started to thin and rivals wanted the lane. Violence follows distribution turf the way power outages follow storms. Spikes in shootings and robberies often line up with transition points, when routes shift or when a network's protection collapses. Hit the right nodes at the right hour, and you catch crews moving to secure ground or to peel back a corridor. That is why the warrant staggered by minutes and why the teams pivoted off heat maps and routing notes instead of street corners.